lovely little channel. This is Perfumerism, and today we're going to be talking about tea-scented perfumes. Tea is one of my absolute favorite notes in perfume. It has a really calming, grounding, green, herbal note to it, and there's so many different ways to do tea. I know we're approaching fall. I do have a fall fragrances video coming up if I haven't posted it yet. So I have tried many a tea perfumes because it is my favorite note. If I see tea, I will order a sample. So I have beside me right now some of my top favorite tea perfumes, and I'm going to go through them all and let you know my favorites. If you like tea perfumes or if you have any recommendations, please like this video. The first fragrance we're going to talk about is one from Jovois Paris, and it's called Remember Me. This is like a milky chai latte. I think I first tried this for my milk series, and this is definitely your warm tea. So if you kind of like a tea latte or anything like that, that is the vibe. This scent is incredible. I know that Fire at Will by Jovois is really, really popular. This is an incredible cardamom tea milk perfume. Like, this is incredible. Wow, it's such a good chai latte. It's like slightly sweet, and lactonic scents can sometimes be a vibe, sometimes not be a vibe. But this is so good. There's a little bit of cardamom in the opening. There's ginger in this. There's frangipani. This is so special and beautiful, and it's one of my favorite scents. The milk in the background is so beautifully done. This is probably one of my favorite milk perfumes of all time, and one of my favorite tea perfumes. On card, I get a lot of the milk note, whereas when I spray it on skin, I get a lot of the ginger and the cardamom. It is just gorgeous and beautiful and stunning. I find this perfume so amazing, and no one ever talks about it. So this is one of my favorite tea perfumes, especially going into the fall weather for like a warm, cozy, milky chai perfume. Okay, the next scent that we have is called Dear Polly, and this is from Wilhelm Perfumery. This perfume is super cute because it was made as a love letter from the founder of Wilhelm to his wife Polly. They've since divorced, but he traveled a lot, so they were long distance quite frequently, and he wanted this perfume as like a love letter of I'm thinking of you when we're apart. This is a black tea fragrance. It's definitely more fresh than Remember Me, which is very warm, vanilla latte kind of smell. Dear Polly has a fresh feeling, but it's not super citrusy because a lot of tea fragrances will mix with a lot of citrus to be a very citrusy. This fragrance has bergamot and apple in the opening, so there is a bit of a fruity, like citrus. It's so beautiful. It's the most gorgeous black tea note. It's truly black tea. I don't get any milk note in this, but I do think that this mixed with Blanche Bête would be the most gorgeous milky tea scent, or like Latte Fredo from Hilde Solani would be the most beautiful milk tea scent, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm having like that sensory feeling where my hair just needs to go up, so I just put my hair up. Okay, moving along, we have my favorite fresh tea scent, and one of my it's probably my favorite tea scent, and for some reason I have not purchased a bottle. It just doesn't feel right. But this fragrance is called Bamboo Harmony by Kilian, and this is my favorite, one of my favorite fragrances of all time. And I cannot get myself to finish it. Every time I look at how little there is in my bottle, I want to cry. I don't want to spray it. I don't want to spray it. Okay, maybe I will spray it for this video. I'm gonna spray it on the big side because I don't want to lose any. This is sacred. This is the most fresh, spa-like, tranquil, like this is meditation in a scent, and it makes me think that everything is just good and clean. Like I feel like the cleanest girl in the world. Like this is neroli and bergamot. I hardly get any neroli. There's tea, bamboo, mate, spices, fig leaf. This is a fragrance that I want to inject into my veins, like pump this into me. I feel like this is liquid IV, like it just refreshes me. Like this is that kind of DNA that I could never ever get sick of. Like it's incredible. It's so good and fresh and clean and like dewy. It kind of has this like fresh, wet, like a spring morning. Just the softest touch of florals, like whoa, beautiful. Oh my God, Remember Me it's so good. I love tea scents, you guys. I'm actually so happy to be talking about these. I need to buy a bottle of this. I don't know why I haven't bought a bottle. Like this is my favorite perfume and I just like haven't used it, but like I have a lot of fragrances that I don't wear. Like I have bottles of and I love, but I like don't reach for them. And this perfume is like so special that I can't get a bottle of it and like not use it. I need to like have that limerence for it. Next up, we have a fragrance called Sunday from Ariel Shoshana, and this is a matcha scent. Now, while this fragrance does have matcha, it has a really strong toasted rice scent. It's kind of that rice that gets caught in your throat. Like it's a perfume that I can't really just fully like inhale because it's kind of like, you know, like it's like inhaling powder or starch. It's a really dry scent, very savory. The rice is very savory. This is not sweet at all. There's a little bit of a milkiness in here, which is super beautiful. I don't get any of the cinnamon or the coconut or the amber in this. I really just get rice, a little bit of matcha and mate, and milk. And it's so good. It's not one that I really would get like a full bottle of and wear, but it's one that I do think is like so special from a perfumery and like appreciation of art standpoint. It's one that I love to smell. I think it's so gorgeous and really big fan of it. Okay, next up we have a fragrance called Melody of the Sun, and this is also in the fresh kind of category. This one is from Mancera of all places, and Mancera usually has kind of like plasticky, very synthetic fragrances, so I didn't have very high expectations when I smelled this for the first time. But it is wonderful. This is a really nice, juicy, punchy tea scent. It has this cooling feeling that I don't think it's cologne, but it almost could be. Definitely lemon in the opening. It's something that a man could wear or a woman could wear. It's just like a really nice citrusy fragrance. A bit of grapefruit, a bit of lavender. This smells like summer. The sun is shining. I just got it on my nose. It's just gorgeous and fresh and fun and happy. This is one that they carry at Twisted Lily, so if you want to sample it, you can get it for 10% off with Emma 10. Same thing with Dear Polly. This is another one that you can pick up with Emma 10 for 10% off. If you want to sample it, I will link everything below. This is a really lemony tea scent, like a lemony Nestea or something like that, like a Nestea lemon. Like, you know how you can get like peach iced teas? This would be a lemon iced tea. And I almost get a bit of amber in the background, which I think is really interesting, kind of that background of warmth. And I think that that's something that Mancera does have with Cedrat Boisé as well, where it's kind of like sharp, tangy, citrusy, bright, with kind of this background that's a little warm and addictive. So they do have that addiction in the background. So this one I do really like, and it really blew me away. So that is all for today. I will come back with a little more later. So I'll see you guys in a second, maybe in a different outfit. Hello, it is the next day, and let's keep talking about some more tea perfumes that are incredible. The next fragrance that we have here is called Angelique Noir, and this is by Guerlain. Side note, I can never pronounce this name. And it's not that I don't know how it's pronounced, it's that I just don't know how to pronounce it, because when I got this fragrance, I was actually collaborating with the Canadian Guerlain team, and the Quebec Canadian accents say Guerlain. French people would say Guerlain, Guerlain. And I know both of them watch my videos, so I don't know how to pronounce it, because I don't know who's French to say. So I just say Guerlain, because then I'm not even trying, and I'm not doing it wrong. This perfume is so good. This fragrance doesn't have any tea notes. It does have caraway in it, which is like maybe loosely tea adjacent, but it does have angelica, which gives it this kind of, it doesn't smell like tea. This fragrance evokes the feeling of a tea. This fragrance is a very green angelica. It has angelica in the top and the base, and angelica is one of the most expensive fragrances in perfumery. It's actually like a wild celery plant. It harvests so infrequently that it is a very expensive raw material. It kind of has this green, sharp smell to it, and this fragrance has a really pretty vanilla that's very calming. Like, I feel like this could just kind of soothe me to sleep. But it's kind of, it's a sharp scent. This isn't a difficult fragrance by any means, but angelica is not necessarily an easy note. This isn't an easy musky vanilla like you would think if you didn't know angelica, because it has that kind of almost grating angelica note that I find so beautiful, but I could see someone finding grating. And yes, this has a pretty big dent in it because I love this perfume. Okay, let me read you some Fragrantica reviews. It smells like something you knew your whole life, like someone you want to hug. It smells of careless childhood by nature and also of a velvety woman's skin. It smells fluffy but also melancholically deep, shimmering, powdery, and creamy. It wears softly like a warm summer evening wind, somewhere near a swamp. Favorite Guerlain. This fragrance is really pretty. It smells like someone is singing you a lullaby and you're falling asleep. And that is kind of how I feel, kind of this like sleepy happiness feeling. And this fragrance is totally beautiful. It's not a tea scent, but it kind of slots into that category. I would say it's more of a warm tea perfume, even though there are green notes. It's not a citrusy, fresh, awakening tea the way Bamboo Harmony is. This is definitely like a warm, like, look at the color of this. This is a warm fall perfume, even winter scent. I got this in February, so big fan. Okay, next we're going to talk about one of the best matcha scents that exists, and this is called En été from Obvious Parfums. This fragrance means a summer, and it is a mate matcha scent. It really sums up that powderiness that matcha has. Oh my god, it's literally like a matcha, the matcha white chocolate covering of Kit Kat. That is what it smells like. Ugh, it is perfect. It is perfectly gourmand, but if that really powdery smell, like the really powdery, earthy matcha-ness, it's savory, and it's like literally the exact sweetness level of the Japanese matcha Kit Kats. Not super sweet. They're not the sweetest candy. They're candy, but they're not the sweetest candy. So if you're wearing only Kayali's and stuff like that, this isn't a blind buy safe fragrance, but it's a fragrance that I think is so good, and this is the most realistic matcha fragrance, especially like if you drink matcha lattes, the green powdered matcha that you whip up, that is that matcha scent. in this, and it's incredible. And I do have a full bottle of it in my other room. I don't know why I didn't open that instead. I also have many samples of it because I sampled it many times before I got the full size. Okay, hello everyone. It is the next day. Just jumping in to give 2 last fragrances that I don't know why, but I just like completely forgot about. The first one that I want to talk about is Armani Privé's Thé Oolong. There are 2 different bottles of this one. I have the one that's called Soie de Nacre, which has the most beautiful glitter suspended in the fragrance. It is stunning. This is the original fragrance. It's just in a really pretty bottle. I usually get a lot of questions about it. It's the same fragrance, so you can order it with the glitter or without. Of course, I love a pretty glitter, but this is one of the most beautiful fresh tea scents. It's kind of in the Bamboo Harmony family, but it doesn't have the same amount of florals. It's more of like a smoked tea fragrance with green tea and black tea. I use the word smoked, but it's not smoked. It's apparently like a smoked woods note. There's nothing smoky about this. It's fresh, it's green, it's a little bit citrusy. It's almost like a hint of lime or like something, but this is a fragrance that I want to put on to get up and go. Like I am getting up, I am starting my day. It has that citrus, it has the fresh tea note. It's like, I'm filming this at 9 a.m. and I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge morning person. I really like to like start my day. I love the morning sun. I like the morning breeze. I like a fresh perfume that'll just get me out of bed, get me going. It's back to school season, and this is my first back to school season where I'm not going back to school because I just graduated. And so I'm just like thinking, I'm like reminiscing of the times in college where I would like, wake up, I'd have to go to class, I'd like spritz this on, or I'd try to like get a workout in before I went to class and just spritz this on. And this just makes me feel so nostalgic and makes me miss living with my friends and being in college. And anyways, this was has always been one of my favorite tea scents, and I think that this is one of the scents that actually made me fall in love with the note. I had it sitting right in front of me when I filmed the whole video and I just forgot to grab it. So I don't know how that happened. I'm very, very sorry, Thé Oolong, but this has forever been one of my favorite tea scents. Another one that I want to talk about, I have a full bottle of, I just cannot find it. Like I do not know where this bottle went, but this fragrance is called Monday by Ariel Shoshana. I literally have a full bottle. It's like, there's like this much left. It's basically empty and I wish I could find it. I ripped around my house this morning looking for it. Don't know where it is, but this is a Earl Grey latte scent. So there's lavender, bergamot, milk in this. It's not super milky. It's definitely more of like an aromatic Earl Grey scent. You get a lot of the bergamot, a lot of the lavender, super aromatic, really just like an Earl Grey tea. This is one of the most perfect Earl Grey scents. So if you're looking for Earl Grey, that's it. It's not sweet. It's definitely like a citrusy scent. So it's that kind of fresh tea with the aromatics of the Earl Grey. I wish that there was a little bit more milk in that, so I do like to layer that one. It's one that you can layer with like Blanche Bête, or Latte Fredo, Lait Concentré if you want a milk note more prominent. Apparently there's like foamed milk. I really don't get that, like maybe in the background, but it's more of like a citrusy aromatic Earl Grey tea scent. But to me, it's the best Earl Grey scent that I have smelled. I think it's incredible. Highly recommend. They're a really cute brand. I talked about their fragrance Sunday, which is matcha, and this one is Earl Grey. So big fan of their tea scents, and that one's really fun. Sometimes I layer it with Bianco Latte too. Anyways, those are just 2 quick mentions of fragrances that I really like and somehow didn't mention in the video and I want to talk about. Let's get back into it. Next up, let's talk about a tea fragrance that I felt like I had to talk about because it is so iconic that I needed to talk about it, but it's one that we'll talk about 2. There's 2 fragrances that if you've watched my channel, you know this. This video is mostly supposed to be focusing on the positive, but there are some honorable mentions that are kind of an elephant in a room that I do have to speak on when I talk about tea perfumes. And one of them is Wulong Cha by Nishane. And this fragrance is a fig bergamot scent with a tea note. I don't like this scent. It's very strong. It is very long lasting. I get a lot of citrus with a lot of fig. It's really like really top note heavy, really up your nose. And somehow it has this bold projection and longevity, which is incredible. And if you're looking for that, it's really good. I'm not sure why, but I don't really like the blend of the bergamot and the fig. I find that tea is my favorite note, and I get more fig and bergamot than I do get tea when it comes to this fragrance. Not a particular favorite because to me, this is like a citrusy bergamot scent. And it's good, but it's not exactly, it doesn't have that like beautiful kind of botanical feeling that I really like with tea scents. Like Bamboo Harmony to me is just the perfect balance of that. I think that you might be like a Oolong Cha or a Bamboo Harmony person, and I'm totally Bamboo Harmony. It's just perfect. Like the blend is perfect. But if you like fig and you want a kind of citrusy, fresh tea, and you like fig rather than bamboo, neroli, stuff like that, then you might prefer Oolong Cha. It's incredibly popular, and I don't dislike it, but it's just not my favorite tea scent, and I don't get as much tea in it when I smell it. I get more bergamot and fig. There's also a Oolong Cha X, which I always thought was extrait, like an extrait de parfum. I still think that the X is an extrait de parfum. This fragrance I like a little better. This one has a little bit more of that botanical feeling where there's a bit of the Listia cubeba, a very strong, prominent central note of green tea, fig at the base, yuzu. I find this one is a little less grating and a little more of that kind of botanical, pretty soft feeling than the Oolong Cha, which is very That's how oolong cha is. This one's a little more like, you know, if these are the top notes sticking up, this is the bergamot getting you up your nose. This is oolong cha X. So those are the comparisons. Again, oolong cha is just not my favorite tea scent, but it's a very, very iconic one and a lot of people love it. So I'd be remiss not to talk about it. Another one that I will say so briefly is there are some labos. There's thé noir, thé matcha. I personally don't smell tea in either of them. I don't believe that the thé noir even has a tea note, but that one is beautiful. For me, like it doesn't even count on this list because it's not a tea scent. It's fig, cedar, and tobacco, which to me is just not personally my experience drinking tea. It does smell amazing. I just don't personally find it to be a tea scent. And then there's also a thé matcha scent, which is also a fig scent from labo, which is a little greener and fresher. They're not my style of tea fragrances, but again, they're so popular. So if you're interested in tea fragrances, it's worth checking out. They're not my first ones to recommend because I still don't really think they smell like tea, but so popular that I wanted to get ahead of the comments that are gonna say, what about labo? I see you, I hear you. I don't know if I'm there yet. There are also two brands that you can get through Lucky Scent. There's one called Chasing Scents and there's one called One Day. These are both brands that focus on tea scents, and even if that's not the only thing they do a lot of tea scents, and they do tea scents quite well. I have all the tea scents from both One Day and Chasing Scents alike. This one here is called Tea Service by Chasing Scents, and it is the most strong oolong tea jasmine note. It is incredibly strong. It's fruity, it's a little sweet, it has peach in there, goji berries. There's a woman in my town that has a tea place, and you walk in and there's like every type of tea, and she has traveled the world to source every type of tea and work with all these artisanal craftsman teas. And this is kind of, to me, it's not like a specific tea. Like there's oolong and there's jasmine. I love jasmine tea. But this kind of is that like when you smell oolong tea or jasmine tea, it smells really dry. This kind of is like walking into a shop with a bunch of tea in it and you're kind of smelling it and it's like caught in your throat. It's also kind of, it smells a lot like pollen too. Is that kind of dry scent that's kind of going up your nose. This is the most popular one from Chasing Scents. They do also have one called Rain Tea, which is like chamomile, white tea, honey, barley. It's a really interesting one, so you can check that one out if you'd like. And then from One Day, the one that I grabbed is called Jasmine Tea. This is an aromatic white floral scent with oolong tea, and this is so good. I love jasmine tea. I had a moment like all through high school, throughout university, anytime I was sick, anytime I was cold, which in Canada is quite a lot. My house has really old windows and the heat leaks. I tend to be very cold. I'm always the person with very cold hands. And so I find that if I need to warm up, sometimes I need to either take a hot shower or even draw a bath just to get in and warm up, or drink a hot tea. That was a big tangent, but basically I love jasmine tea. And so for a long time, that was my go-to, like a jasmine green tea. And so this smells so nostalgic to me. Beautiful, lush jasmine, very calming. I could just smell this and meditate. As I'm filming this, it's 5 p.m. and I'm feeling that 5 p.m. sleepiness, and this fragrance is really doing that to me. So yeah, that was the final fragrance that I wanted to discuss in this video. If you have any favorite tea scents or any recommendations, please let me know in the comments below. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and even if you didn't like it, feel free to give it a thumbs down. Give it a thumbs up if you want. I appreciate all of you for giving me your time. Subscribe if you would like. I really appreciate if you subscribe, but I also understand I'm kind of a silent viewer and I will watch someone's videos for years and years before I ever subscribe. So if you're not even subscribed, I see you, I hear you, I respect you. I hope you have a great day. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.